going on, guys? Welcome back to RC Every Day. Another little side project here. I've wanted this file for a while, but everybody that had it said it didn't fit very well. The reason I'm changing this truck up, it had the stake sides on it that I'd made. They were very thin, and just all the traveling to events, they just keep getting broken, and they pretty much won't even stay together now. So I thought this would be a cool look. We're going to try to do aluminum. I'm thinking, excuse me, losing my voice. Maybe like doing stripe down the side and having it kind of patinaed. So I don't know how this work out, but we've got all the pieces here. Supposed to glue this in and then it bolts down to your bed floor. You have to make holes. The rear hatch has some hinge holes. I don't know what kind of hinges. I have some little old like dollhouse hinges, but they're not nearly the right size. So we'll have to figure something out for that. But yeah, first thing we got to do is get some paint on this. Get some primer. The side pieces do bolt on, so that's kind of cool. I did have the option to print it as one piece, but it was just somewhere was going to end up funky if I did it that way. So we left it all separate, and I'm hoping I don't have to do a whole lot of body work. I am going to hit it with some primer because like our top edges on the sides, not the smoothest. There's a little bit of marking on it, so if we can get that to smooth out a little bit. I'm not worried about the bottom. Obviously that's going to be sitting on the bed, but yeah. It's kind of a neat bolt together setup. I just have one screw in it right now just for mocking it up. It does fit M3 stuff, so that'll be cool. And yeah, let's go get some paint going before it gets too dark. All right, guys, had to move out here to the shipping department. Move all this stuff out the way. Got some filler primer. Been trying this stuff out. It leaks out the nozzle quite a bit. Got it on my finger, but it's been pretty good. I did a couple of rat rod bodies with it. Feels pretty well. I'm just going to scuff a little bit of the top surfaces and just go over it lightly. Which I think this is a 400 grit. I really need to wipe that off. I did finally get me some tack cloth, so hopefully quit contaminating paint jobs. Bought a little box of those on Amazon. Yeah, I'm gonna clean that up, start sanding. Got that cleaned up enough. I'm going to paint the insides first. I'm going to do this all aluminum. It's a metallic Rust-Oleum, and it has a really good effect, I think. I'm just going to try it. Save that tack cloth, barely used it. And once that's dry, I'll flip it over to the outside, and then we're going to try something else. This plan just keeps getting more involved the more I think about it. So I've got another idea. I'm going to try something else, another new weathering technique that my friend Braxton's been telling me about, and I'm gonna try it for another purpose than the way he was explaining it. So let's get some paint going. All right, guys, next day I've got the base silver metallic paint on and hit it with a matte clear. Last night it's all good and dry. I did go ahead and bolt it all together. Looks a lot better, not black ABS. So the plan is with this, talking to my friend Braxton about his weathering methods. He uses this Vallejo liquid mask and he sponge applies it, so you can't really see. Then he paints the final color over it. Now typically he does this on a rust base, so he'll do like a primer red and add some of the sponges on the edges of lighter shades, things like that. We're going to try that here eventually, but I thought this was a good opportunity to try this. I want to paint this topper off-white to kind of match the rest of the truck. And I'm thinking of even doing like a stripe down the side, but I want it all to chip away, you know, because it's going to chip down to the bare aluminum. I just hope that we can dull down the shine a little bit once we get to that point. But we're going to do the same method we did sponging on the other stuff on the other hot rods in the last couple videos. Got some small pieces. I'm going to focus on the edges and some of these edges on these ridges and things like that. And yeah, then we'll paint this thing white. I've had the paint can warming up for a while. That white I have, the off-white Rust-Oleum spray, is terrible. I might see if I can actually steal another nozzle off the can, so maybe we can get a good even coat, because I don't want to overdo it. So yeah, here goes nothing. I'll pour some of this in the plate and start sponging it on. All right, guys, so got the liquid mask applied. Hindsight, I went ahead and did over one of my test bodies from a couple videos ago. Got it painted this off-white that I'm thinking of doing this. We'll see. It's going to take it a minute to dry. I tried to force dry it with the heat gun. Very textured. I tried to do, you know, in case it comes out good, I wanted to do the whole thing. I didn't just kind of half do it. I don't know what the method is. I guess maybe we'll take one of these sides of the sponge and start scrubbing on it. We'll see what we get. But yeah, this is almost dry. You can still kind of see the thicker areas. The thinner areas are almost invisible. You'll be able to see it once you get some paint on it, though. You can see all the texture pop out. And I went heavy on the top, just kind of do the areas that have been focused on these. I decided to leave the tailgate aluminum looking. I think that's going to be a cool look. We'll frame out those windows, and still got to figure out how to make some hinges for it. But I do want to come back. I'll have to come back and repaint the window frame silver, and when we go to do windows and everything in it. If this doesn't look terrible, we'll see. So we're gonna let this stuff dry for a little bit, and we'll come back and chip this, rub it, whatever we got to do, and then we'll go ahead and spray that. I did swap nozzles on the paint can, so hopefully it'll be good in the next 30 minutes to an hour. We can go ahead and hit this. I'm still not sure on the stripe. I was thinking like these middle two or something like that. These always had some kind of stripe on them, different colored panels or something. I don't know. We'll just see how it looks once it starts chipping off. But yeah, I'm gonna let this stuff dry just a little bit longer, and then we'll go ahead and test this, paint that, and see what we got. All right, guys, I've got the paint on the camper. We're gonna take a crack at this, trying some different sponges. Not sure the technique was doing solid areas was as good as speckles, so got a little cup here for trash and try to just take a whack at this and see how it looks. Trying some different stuff out. Paint's probably not dry as it should be, but I really don't want to wait. I want to bring out the rust. All right. I'm starting to see a picture here. Just it's going to depend on the edges and how well we did with how we laid it down, or how I laid it down. Y'all are on board with this with me, so we'll see what we can get. I guess this is what you do. I didn't ask anybody much detail about this part, so we'll see. Even stuff flying everywhere. This is gonna be a mess. That's awesome. I'm gonna turn on some music and do this, and yeah, I'll show you what we end up with, because I went all over this thing. Well, all right, that kind of worked. I've learned something. I'm glad we did this one first. I got a little aggressive with the sponge and started scratching the rust layers underneath. I'm hoping once this fully dries, I'll hit it with some matte clear, and maybe it'll smooth up some of that. But you can leave some of it on, is what apparently it starts stringing up, and you just kind of pull it off. And yeah, I've tried to get all of it off, so that was a rookie move there. But this is a cool look. I kind of dig it. So got a little bit down there, and I got some here I still didn't chip off. Look, it's just coming right off. There at the end, I just started using my finger like this. Paint's finally starting to dry. I rushed it. This was the test piece, so I'm not too upset about that. But yeah, we'll let the other one dry better. Yeah, I'm still pulling some of that mask out of there. But yeah, I mean, that's a new effect, new finish we can do. All the little light speckling I did on the sides actually came through. I tried not to do too thick of a paint layer, but it had to be thick enough to be consistent in color. That stuff was spraying kind of thin, so I had to put multiple coats on it. But yeah, that's new. The top I'm not really in love with, but it's something. I did scratch the top. That's where I started. Scratched it up pretty aggressively, but man, I love the way it looks around these body lines and stuff. Really brings out those details in the kit. All down here in the rocker. I need to work on this side a little more. And you can still see where I got a little consistent with the sponge there. So yeah, there's still something to be said about taking our time with that part. But man, that's I'm not mad at that. I may actually use this body. This one was a prototype. It has a different shaped top, and it had some lines in it we couldn't get out, and you can't even see those now. This has so much weathering stuff on it. This was the one that I primered, sanded lightly, painted it maroon, and then did all the crusted rust stuff all over it, and satin cleared it. It's got 2 layers of satin clear, and then now this on top of it. So we'll go ahead and hit it with some more satin clear and just see what it looks like. But I'm gonna let the bed cover dry a little bit further before we start on it. All right, guys, paint's dry enough. I got distracted. Luckily, it was worked out to let the paint dry. Built that back there with the with that test body we did. I hit it with some matte clear after I rubbed all this stuff off, and it looks pretty good. It smoothed it out. Got rid of a lot of the scratches I put in with this thing. But I do want to use this just some to try to start knocking down some of this. I don't know how this is going to look on the silver. Oh, come on. This is going to be time consuming. Could peel it like that, but then it get lifted up the paint. That's not good. All right. Oh my Lord, I think I did way too much for this thing. Oh man. Where's my trash bucket? There it is. All right. Well, I'm gonna do this all off camera. We'll see what we get. Fingers crossed. All right, guys, it looks pretty cool. I'm digging it. I looked at pictures online. This exact camper, I've seen a couple that have stripes, and it's usually this area and this area. I don't know if I want to do two, because that one's going to carry all the way under, and that's going to be almost impossible for me to get down to. Thinking I'm just going to put a blue stripe on it. I don't know. I just don't know. I feel like I need to add something. Obviously, I still want to paint the window stuff. If I'd have thought about that a little better, I could have just put the liquid mask all over it, and then we could have rubbed it back down to the aluminum and been content. But anyway, I don't know. I need to, let me get some tape, see if we can just eyeball this, see what it's going to look like. I have a color. It was one of the ones I used on the truck. I used like 3 different blues on there. So I have that. This is going to be too wide. It's not going to look right because it's so bright. All right, I'm just going to roll with it. I'm going to mask off, do 2. And wish me luck. Alright guys, I'm about wrapped up for the night, but yeah, went ahead and painted the window trims back silver. The stripes, a little more aggressive on this side. The other side came out better, partly because I messed up and forgot to put the fluid on it, liquid masking stuff, and started painting it. I didn't get much on, but it was enough to make a mess. I did change my mind about the rear tailgate, so I've got it here with the liquid mask, and I just sprayed it in white. And the nozzle I just replaced on this is clogged again. So I don't know what this can's deal is. We've been having problems for a while. I can't even make sense of what's on the bottom to know if that's a date. But yeah, that one's clogged up now too. So luckily we're done painting. So we're gonna let this stuff dry up overnight. I am real quick gonna take this out. This should be dry by now. Yeah, dry enough. I'm gonna go ahead and hit that with the satin clear, and we'll put a nice thick coat on. That'll add some depth, make it pop a little more, make all these layers look a little bit deeper, because I did not do that first. Usually I'll do that before I add anything, and then like I should have done it before I did the blue and the window trim, and then done it again after, but I opted not to because I'm trying to hurry. But yeah, we're at the stopping point tonight, so I'm going to take that out, spray it, let this thing set up overnight, and yeah, see what we got in the morning. I'm trying to look for Lexan. I run low on my window making supplies. We do have a giant opening in the front. The sides are pretty consistent. The backs, on a lot of the pictures, it looked like these outer 2 had screens over them. I'm not sure if that's something I want to mess with or not. I've seen some before that had screens on the side, but this one's actually older than that, and actually all 4 of those were independent windows you could open, and none of them appear to have any screens unless it was over it on the inside, but you couldn't tell from the photos, so it is what it is. We're just gonna start wrapping this thing up because it's looking pretty good, and I need to stop while I'm ahead, not keep adding and adding to it. All right, guys, next day, these little hinges. So, I think I just played a clip of printing some hinges. I found a random hinge file on Printables, I believe it was, and I scaled it, but man, these are tiny. I had to drill out the hinges with this to be able to thread an M1 screw through it. Thankfully, the boom trucks have lots of extra hardware. I've got a ton of this little M1 and some 1.2 to make this work. I broke one of the hinges. Luckily, I printed enough. I broke that one too, but we're gonna roll with it for now. I cut the glass out. Had to steal some from a set of wheels I had on the parts wall. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna glue that in just yet. I did also this parts tree. This is an axial parts tree. These are like 16 or 17 bucks on Amazon. And they have a lot of really good stuff, lots of steering wheels, which I've used the big ones, gun rack for the window. It's got window cranks, door levers, steering column, shifters. Really cool. These are handy. There's a link to that in the Amazon store in the video description. My rear window latch handle thing is wet still, so yeah, it's so tiny. That hinge did break further after installing it. These are not gonna hold at all. This is the only thing holding this back window to the truck as well. And this one did not break. I did have, like I said, kind of drill those out. It was the only bolts I had long enough to actually thread into them. And keep losing these little M1 screws into the holes I've drilled in the table over the years. I don't know if this file actually had hinges or not. I didn't have the file. I got this print, or this version from my buddy 10 Scale Addict RC. He had resized it because the original version was made to fit some old Blazer converted pickup, and it did not fit. I printed those in ABS thinking, you know, they'd be somewhat durable. They're just so small. There's no material around it. This side is, I think the paint's holding it together, so we're gonna rock that. I'm gonna go ahead and glue in the window while we're here. See how gummed up this is. Almost finished off this bottle. What I'm doing, I got my little cheat here. Let's go and wipe that off. Don't trust the first glob that comes out. As you can tell, it's pretty globbed up. See if we can string this without globbing too much. It doesn't take a whole lot to hold Lexan in. You just don't let it touch until you're ready. And around the edges, since it had the least. All right, we're gonna let this dry for a little bit. E6000 takes some time. I was thinking about making some cracks in the glass, but I don't know. Every time I've done that, it's kind of hit and miss. I usually just take like a razor blade and just cut like some jagged cracks in it, like make one of these corners cracked. Guess we could try that. I've got a pretty sharp blade here right now. I don't want to actually cut through. Looks, well, you can kind of see it. It looks cracked. Maybe we'll add another little, make it look like this one piece is tied in right there. Yeah, something like that. I don't want to go crazy with it, but let that dry. Get the handle on, then we can try to put those screws on. We still have to figure out the mounts too. I don't even know where I've set those. So these mounts glue to the inside, which I hate, and bolt to your floor, your bed. And there's no, these didn't fit the best. It has this little notch where it kind of sets over the edge of the thing, I think, and I don't know. I'm not keen on drilling holes in my bed floor, but we'll figure out something. All right, so these mounts, I'm having to modify just a little bit because this has been resized and things just aren't fitting great. Like that fits perfect into that notch. This one's off a little bit. So I'm gonna use my little cordless Dremel here and take a little bit of that off real quick. We'll put some of this in there and we'll wait. Wait for this stuff to dry. I'm probably gonna do, the only way I know how to line up and make these holes is to kind of coat them with probably black paint and the ends of it, and then just set it in the truck and try to see if I can do it clean enough to where I can leave marks exactly where I need them. And we'll just go from there. Get some clamps on this because it is not fitting fantastically still. Sure, all the way in. Come on. Nope. Nope. Come on. All right, now we'll wait. All right, that was not fun. You see I added a couple more little cracks in the window. I was having fun with that. I've got the gate on. It does not line up at all. I mean, we're between the things. It's supposed to overlap that. The hinges, this one ended up kind of in the hole. This one is about 2 or 3 millimeter this way. That's the problem with like this file being resized and modified. Things are just slightly off a little bit. Just like those inside brackets not quite lining up with their little grooves, but it works. I intentionally mismatched hardware. Problem was the scale M1 screws I used on the gate side. The holes up here were too big, so they would fell right through. So I had to drill everything out, including both of my broken hinges. This one is actually on and working. This one, the hinge is all but obliterated, and there's glue underneath it holding it in place. But the screws do go in, but the halves of the hinge are really not doing a whole lot of hinging. We're just hanging on that last little bit of ABS right there on that side, but whatever. It's gonna work good enough. It'll flop around a little bit till it breaks off. At least it's in the trail truck. We're not gonna be out bashing this thing. So I gotta give these mounts a little bit longer to dry, since that's gonna be, I don't know, structural, I guess we'll call it. I do need to make sure that those will fit M3. Okay, they do fit M3, so that's good. Got that going for us. But yeah, let's get this thing wrapped up. Would you look at that? Just look at it. This thing has been whooping my butt today. But I am calling it done. One last little touch. We probably should put some stickers in the window. I believe Austin suggested that. And yeah, after the battle with the hinges, I completely forgot. But man, that thing just, it's working for me now. It looked awful when we put it up there as a raw print. And once I painted it silver, it kind of started looking like something. But I didn't like it when I was done. Those blue stripes, absolutely necessary. I'm glad I went ahead and did it. After looking at some pictures online, it just makes sense. They all had some sort of color, splash of color on it. But man, those hinges, so I 3D printed those hinges. They're just, it's too delicate. I'm just, actually, here's the piece of one of them that's broken off. After about 3 or 4 times opening, done, cracked the small parts of one half of the hinge. One was hanging on, but yeah, by the time we started trying to mount this, that's another thing, those mounts, they were all jacked up. I had that glue in here drying for like 3 hours, and I would go to set it on there, and they were too far outward. This print is not scaled exactly. It's like our tailgate window doesn't fit exactly. Like, it's just off a little bit in every direction. And those mounts were not going to work. I cut them down, trying to squeeze them in there, but it was just pulling apart. And I didn't want to drill that many holes in the bed. So I made the little metal brackets. Actually, I found those in one of my parts bins. I'd made them for something else a long time ago. And I just put a hole on each side. It's clamped down in the middle. It'll give if you hit it hard enough, move around, but it stays on there pretty well lined up. I dig how it looks. It doesn't shut. There's a big old gap on this side. I used a piece of mud flap, if you saw that. A little CC hand mud flap that was super thin. And I just bolted it below the hinges. So the hinges are mostly there. I had to change out some hardware, trying to thread some of those fine thread screws through. Rubber was not going so well. But now we've got full range of motion. We still have the hinge on this one. Hopefully it can hang on. But like I said, it's all over the place. But little cracks in the windows here and there from this thing just banging around. Got my latch. We could probably actually make that latch, honestly. All I have to do is we put another one of these on the other side, run a grub screw between them, and then we could make it where it would actually latch. Dang it, that's a good idea. All right, let me see if I can do that real quick. All right, let's pray that that's gonna work. All right, I think I'm gonna have to shave that down just a little bit. I didn't have the right size grub screw. I had to upsize everything to M3 because it's the only grub screws I had that were that long. I'm gonna have to shave a little bit off of this real quick. Down too much. I did. Jeez. Oh, awesome. All right, try it again. One of these days I'm gonna finish this video. This thing has been whooping me for 2 days now. That one's a little crooked, but it'll be all right. All right. Now, let's see how much we got sticking through. Still got too much. All right, One more try. That kind of works. It doesn't sit as tight as I would like, but it does catch it. But it'll bounce around and be all over the place. So it is what it is. It's crooked as all get out now too. But oh well, functional part. You can check that one off the list. But yeah, those that little rubber mud flap worked great for that. And yeah, I don't know what else to really say. There we go. Got a little Texas theme going on here. Stuff off my sticker sheet that I sell on rceveryday.com. Using the ghillie sticker to patch the crack. Six Flags. Just stuff, I had to have something like that with a camper. The Smokey the Bear. But yeah, I changed it out to a Texas plate. I got some plates in the other day finally. And this had that Alabama plate. And I had so much fun in Alabama. I got some plates last year. And they're really nice colored. I don't even know where I've set it now. Yeah, these. But blue, it just kind of worked out. I didn't plan on putting those on this truck, but yeah, here we go. So I dig it. I think this is going to be somewhat functional. I can prop it open. I don't know where I put the little prop rod, but I'd like to make some kind of hinge thing, but we've already exceeded the limitations of this print as far as what we got going here. But I think gravity will keep that to stay latched, so it'll just bounce around a little bit. But I'm exhausted, and I am, yeah, been working on this for so long. The rat rod in the back that I kind of built in the middle of this, still kind of thinking of that as like a prototype. That body was not made to go on that chassis, so I had to do a lot of cutting and stuff on it, but sure does look good. So maybe something would develop more in the future, but for now it's just kind of mocked up. Gotta figure out some body mounts and floor pan and all that kind of stuff that all the kits have on them now. But this has been fun. It's really awesome to learn something new, learn some new methods, and appreciate everybody's help with that. My friend Braxton, who really got me going on this liquid mask stuff, and we've had a lot of fun with that just in this video. So I can't wait to see what else to come up with to use it on. I'm kind of looking back at the rest of the rigs now, and I feel like something's missing on them because they don't have a different level of weathering. So I don't know. This is what goes together though. This is, I don't know, this is kind of like a truck I would actually want. Just a patina truck. Doesn't have to have big wheels, but slammed. Something cool retro like this topper. It's just my vibe. That's why I put Texas plates on it and everything. Kind of make it my own. But I think that's going to wrap it up, guys. This stuff's fun. These files are out there. Stuff can be made. These 3D printers have really changed the game for me. But appreciate you guys watching. Get out there and try something new. Have fun with the hobby and keep it scale. See y'all in the next one.